What is the best caliber for dealing with an army of humanoid robots? 5.56 with M855A1. Consider stairs. They look really cute with their backpacks, like they're going to robot school. Best caliber? Stairs and charging stallions set up like those USB killers. You can now strip the working parts of the enemy after you capture them and use it to repair your own soldiers. Just wait until they have skin and they can feel. Rape is going to be my answer. Meat infantry is obsolete now. Small arms. Anything armor piercing really. Can be a tungsten round or a slap sub-caliber penetrator. That's even better. Fragmentation won't matter as there is no flesh. You want the ability to punch holes in stuff. I suspect shotgun shot would not be great because of this, though you could use an automatic shotgun with birdshot to destroy the tin skin sensors. Big guns. A normal 338 50 cal will do due to raw energy. Now I wonder if it's possible to make APHE or heat small arms bullets. Probably one of the engine buster calibers. 50 Beowulf, 458 SOCOM, 450 Bushmaster. Basically, big bullet that goes through a tiny bit of metal and inflicts tremendous blunt damage upon the electrics, but can be fired out of an AR. 2x10 Pinor, unjacketed, hardcore. I have never heard of this round. Pick? If caliber, I'm thinking more where than what. If gauge, 20-12-10 buckshot with a full choke should deliver enough volume to make a proper mess of things, in general at a decent standoff range. About 20-inch spread at 25 yards, but I'm still aiming for the center of visible mass, possibly torso. What is the best caliber for dealing with an army of humanoid robots? Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range. 7.62, 9mm, and 12 gauge apparently. Works on land sharks too, supposedly. Are you a short, bald martial arts expert who is buddies with a member of a race of warmongering alien monkey? No? Then tough luck, just lie down and die. Water-soluble paint. If it can't see you, it won't fire. 30-06 and 45 ACP. What's the practical difference for China between one of these and one of their current soldiers? More soul in these new ones. High velocity AP rounds. Lightsaber, destroy droid, force push, force crush. I have trained long for this day. Impressive. Confessions. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I think boomers were right about 3-point slings being the best. It's worse, Father, because they were the first rifles I shot. I'm more comfortable with bullpups. That's right, Father. I use a 3-point sling on a bullpup. May the cube have mercy on my soul. I went shooting about a month ago and haven't cleaned my beloved black powder shotgun pistol since then. I've delayed cleaning it before without any pitting, but I still know it's retarded for me not to clean my fucking guns. I also bought my first non-antique, non-inherited gun 2 weeks ago, and I haven't gone to the range with it yet. I came down with something about a month and a half ago, and I'm still sick. I'll probably go shooting on Thursday or Friday. Black powder chads. Forgive me. Forgot pick. Here it is at the range, loaded with approximately 60 grains of triple FG Pyrodex, 2 ounces of birdshot, and titanium powder. I promise I will clean you soon, my beloved. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been months since my last post. The captcha is infuriating and annoying. I have not built a gun since meeting the girl who has since become my wife and bore me a son. My tools are still in the box they were put in when we moved to our new house. The new challenges I face every day prevent me from pursuing the one true interest I have. I'm really close to getting the barreled action of a 7184 Mauser I bought from Apex to actually be a functioning rifle again. The stock is actually a repro from The Last Samurai. I can't decide whether trying to swage an A-base into a 4590 brass is worth it, or just to use it as a single shot. I haven't even shot the last 3 guns I bought. Next thing you're telling me is you keep the condoms despite being a virgin, and you change underwear once a week. That's horrible, Steven. I am a no-gun. They are too expensive. Every post I've ever made on this board is a LARP. I haven't been shooting in months. I've just felt dejected when I look at my guns after a family member's funeral. Today at the range, I loaded a magazine for my M1 carbine. and I was halfway loaded until I realized the bullets were in backwards. I think 30-round mags on ARs are retarded. 20-round mags are more practical. I prefer either 20 or 40-round mags over 30. 20 are just nice and easy to carry around, and if I want more bullet, I just jump ahead to 40 because it seems silly not to. I'm sorry, Father. I too have been lazy about cleaning my guns after shooting, though at least only smokeless, never once with black powder like this savage. 50 rounds are where it's at. I've been a gun owner almost a year now, owned 4 handguns and an AR, and I haven't been to the range or shot any of them once because I'm terribly shy in new situations and I have no one to go to the range with. You just gotta get up and going on. Visit a reputable range and ask for an introductory safety course. The people who work at ranges are more than happy to help you out if you're new to the hobby. Just be willing to listen and pay attention to what they tell you. Come back a few days later, take only 1 gun with you for your first day. Watch some YouTube vids about the manual of arms of your gun of choice before you go. Sling lead down range and have a blast. Simple as. Grandfather of teen killed in home invasion calls AR-15 use unfair. How can you nobly fight home invaders? On guard, ye cur! Draw steel, ye trespassing scoundrel! Not weapons. Someone breaks into my house. Get my satin white glove and strike the burglar across the face with it. Burglar now has to leave my house since I challenged him to pistols at dawn. We're still 5 hours from the sun coming up. Home invasion successfully averted, rematching them by breaking into their house at a later date. Artillery adds dignity to what would otherwise be an ugly brawl. Frederick the Great embraced the wisdom of der Alt Fritz. I remember the story of someone shooting a burglar with a single-shot 20mm loaded with HE. Would he feel better if his grandson was killed with a hammer? Perhaps with a bayonet charge. Civil War era cannon filled with grape shot, with a musket as the founders intended. You strip down and oil up in front of the invader and challenge him to a match of pink ration. I wouldn't fight them. I would listen to what they have to say, and that's what no one did. Noble? Trample upon them with your noble steed. Battleship. Best of 3. A fine double gun seems appropriate. I own an Enfield for home defense since that is what my great-grandfather intended. 400 break into my house. Bloody hell. As I grab my gas mask and Enfield rifle, blow a golf ball-sized hole through the first man. He's dead on the spot. Draw my Lot 1908 pistol on the second man. Miss him entirely because it's out of battery and won't shoot. I have to resort to the Winchester automatic carbine mounted at the top of my curio cabinet. Loaded .351 WSL. Over the top, lads! The lead slugs shred 2 men in the mag dump. The sound and over-penetration set off car alarms. Draw Imperial Japan sword and charge the last terrified Hun. He bleeds out waiting on the police to arrive since severed limbs are impossible to stitch up, just as General Tojo intended. Break into house in America. Get shot by gun. That's not fair. He used gun. How am I supposed to break into your house and steal your things if you have gun? You know the rules, and so do I. You're gonna get this from any other guy. Since he violated the NAP by trespassing, I would nuke the preschool his child goes to in self-defense, before selling half of his extended family into slavery for profit, and keeping the other half as gnomes in my pleasure gardens to show off to my contemporaries. His grandfather would be my indentured slave, like a house nigga in charge of the rest of the servants until his debts are paid off as agreed. $88,888.88 per minute trespassed. The intruder would be shot by an AR-15 with a service fee billed to his last address as $69.69 per trigger pull. AR-15 is unfair, with a powdered wig as our forefathers intended. Keck. It's now IRL memery. Dueling pistols. The one the invader wields has a blank. I remember that article from years ago when it happened. I also remember that the grandfather was also a low-life ex-con and probably the reason why his grandchild turned out to be a shitbag like him. Should thou find thyself within a house or other structure, the finest and most noble choice is oft the side sword and buckler. With the side sword thou mayest both cut and thrust with great effect, gaining the advantage of reach in most encounters. The buckler serveth not only as a stout defense, but also as a secondary striking weapon, and the most well-wrought of such shields may turn aside the shot of a handgun, as well as blows from other arms. When I am called to the test of skill, I seize my buckler and side sword, for herein lieth the truest form of honorable combat. Get Glocks and Shield Plus and GX4 and IC9s. Tried a buddy's P365 and LCP. Still ended up pocket EDCing an LCR J-frame because it's so damn easy and convenient. Can even carry a speed loader pouch, speed strips, or just loose rounds if you feel undergunned. Though I don't bother. Same deal with a pump shotgun next to the bed loaded with double-aught buckshot in arm's reach. Nice and simple. Damn, that's really unique and interesting that you, a contrarian 4chan user, would rather use the dated and unpopular choice. Oh no, I must be missing out. Quick, what should I carry instead? Objectively, the 365. You enjoy your self-revolver and on, you enjoy your loose pocket ammo. And I will continue to carry a single spare mag with 20 rounds in it. And both of you will never have to use them ever likely. Move out of Crackville. Used to have to stay up and chase crackheads trying to steal my shit. First week in new place away from Crackville. Hear a banshee wail at 5 a.m. Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep carrying it. That's most likely either a coyote or a fox. Neither of which will bother you. On the off chance it's a mountain lion, you don't have enough gun. I don't think there's ever been a coyote in the heart of the city here. We also had a woman walk by wailing from all the drugs she was on. Seems that no matter where you go, drugs are killing people. Drugs are killing people? I wish. The cops just Narcan them back to life to perpetuate the anarcho-tyrannical system. Are brass knuckles effective? How do they compare to blackjacks? A knife is far better. If you're going to arm yourself with something, you want something to either pierce or force your way into your opponent's vitals. Knives serve to pierce their way there, while to force your way in, you need something along the lines of a hammer or a bat. Knives are messy though, and bats are easily countered. A hammer I can see, but it's going to be hard for an individual to carry that without a backpack. Knives are messy though. Fights are messy inherently. No plan survives combat. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, etc., etc. Bats are easily countered. Have you ever been in a fight with someone swinging a bat at you? I can tell you haven't, just by this post. But it's gonna be hard for an individual to carry that without a backpack. That's the point, alright? A knife is the smallest, most compact physical weapon you can carry, ignoring firearms. Knives are messy though. They're calling him the fastidious pussy slayer, the preening brass knuckle weenie, the fucking faggot. Shut the fuck up. A knife? Get both. Why punch someone when you can stab them instead? A blunt force trauma with your own physical strength behind it without a lever tool will not match the damage a knife can cause on an average hit. Trench knives often had knuckles for defensive reasons. They worked as a handguard, and because they were being used by soldiers who weren't exactly experts in melee, a knuckle knife could be used to punch as well as stab or hammer with the pommel, and it makes it a lot easier to keep hold of the knife if someone is trying to disarm you. Knives are messy though, and bats are easily countered. Okay, stop a bat being swung at full speed, see how your hand feels afterwards. I would rather have a slingshot. Tie a monkey fist around a nut or padlock or something, on a short length of rope. You can just swing it like a club without too much risk of hitting yourself and a pretty hard impact. It's a literal hunk of metal around your fingers, adding weight and metal to your blows. It's akin to hitting someone with a hammer with the ease and convenience of punching. You will be hit with a bigger charge if caught. And it's a very easy way to turn a stupid, pointless street brawl into a murder charge. Brass knuckles plus head equals lights out. Juries also see them as evil/criminal weapons. Not something noble, so they will hit you with that. Had a Marlin goose gun. a 54 caliber muzzleloader, and a 9130 I gave to my dad to hold on to, and he fucking gave them away. Tells me to protect my family some other way. So I'm buying new guns and he can fuck off. I don't even have a good image for this. I'm sorry. Why did you have him holding onto your guns in the first place? This bad motherfucker chambered in 3-inch Magnum. One of my shooting buddies has one of those. It's such a piece of shit, but at the same time it's pretty cool due to the absurdly long barrel. There's a 10 gauge version too, but the 12 gauge has an even longer barrel than the 10 for some silly reason. My buddy has about a 50% chance of the magazine falling out under recoil. Anyway, it fucking sucks you can't trust your own family to respect your property. Yeah, from the beginning like 6 months ago, it was supposed to be temporary, and now he won't even tell me who he gave them to. Mine did the same shit when it was only 2-round mag, but half the time it would pop out halfway through, lol. I am really going to miss my 9130, and I forgot to mention my 22, both of which I had my whole life, and I'm fucking 30. Oh, if I give you a gun and you do something stupid, it's my fault. It's my fucking gun. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I just had to call the fucking FBI because of a threat to my family, and the fuck won't even give me my shit back. I would have put them in my fucking shed had I known. Drunk fucking bastard has never been there to protect me, and has the nerve to tell me to protect my family some other way? Fucking nigger never once protected one of his kids from anything. What's he want you to use? A baseball bat and a sock on it? That's what I fucking said. He has like 20 guns and he's gonna fucking tell me that shit? My family could be in danger and I'm supposed to stand there in my kitchen with a PVS-14 and a steak knife? Armistice and 88s. Well, if he owns guns, did he say why he didn't want to give them back? Specifically? What was the cause of the temporary 6-month-long issue? Did you catch a restraining order? I'm being extorted by someone I don't know that could be from my area, and they have stolen information from me, demanded money, and threatened my family. Again, Jewish nigger post. If I was insane, they wouldn't let me buy guns, but you're probably some Euro-poor fag that has to kiss the government's whole asshole to get a World War II relic. More specifics. Did that lead to a restraining order or something? Things that didn't happen for 500. The Russians have a Stargate. Bros? When will they stop copying us? Oh, for fuck's sake. We go to all that effort to keep the Earth from getting sucked into an interstellar war, and now the Russians are going to walk in and fuck everything up, trying to save the ethnic Russians of Tau Ceti, or something. Gold? Tactical advantage of sending only 4-person teams to unknown planets instead of a full squad? Low-budget show first season carried forward. Russians get a space cruiser. It's destroyed on its first mission. 1 million lives! It was pretty cool how humans were the most advanced race to use Stargates. Everyone else just had dumb staves that shot little bolts of plasma. Then humans with MP5 showed up and blasted away everyone. My uncle has been to every dumb and mountain complex. What else did you think the piss key would open? The only time the Russian Stargate team is depicted is also the time where it gets own-zoned. Once more proving that gold is in the ass and Asgardite faggots cooperate in the Anglo-Saxon conspiracy. Cree, the act of Shalva breaking is not gay. The Tauri will claim that it is homosex, but it is not Cree. Shalva breaking is a punishment for Jaffa that have failed their god, and it is very much manly and not gay. A First Prime does not enjoy performing such humiliating punishments, but it is his duty to his god to do so, Cree. Anubis himself created the practice before the Jaffa even existed, and enacted on unruly Unas who dared question him, Cree. China's military is so advanced, electric tricycles become Chinese Army's modern gear. Since the U.S. election, China hacked the U.S. Treasury Department, conducted largest naval drills in decades, deployed ships in strength to the South China Sea, launched the world's biggest amphibious warship, accused of sabotaging undersea cables in Asia and Europe. But what about typical? Deployed ships to the South China Sea? Holy shit, they're capable of sailing in their backyard? Once I took a piss outside. By this shill's metrics, that makes me the greatest survivalist in the world. One or two propaganda pieces don't win a war. Someone should post a video of the Chinese ship having to be bailed out by the sailors because the door was on the wrong side of the hatchway and their electric bilge pump burned out the second it touched water. Even the Soviets were not this insecure about their position in the world. Chinese communists and their pet shills have massive Daddy America issues. If these things were really an issue for Americans, we'd be hearing about them non-stop like the fucking balloons. So what does this retard want? Haha, look at these useless weapons. Already doctrinally field tested. Sabotaging undersea cables. Shut off India's internet, please, China-san. How common/real was the thing where a samurai tests his weapon, a sword, by attacking random civilian at a crossroads? About tree fitty. I don't know if they did that. Peasants, particularly farmers, had a higher place than people like merchants. As odd as that sounds, they did occasionally practice by executing bound criminals. Kill local lord's favorite rice farmer. Now you must commit Sudoku. Sounds kinda dumb to practice what is essentially murder against a defenseless target. I'm just guessing. If it was done, it would have been on beggars, homeless, or crazy people. Effectively, yes. The destitute could be trumped on all manner of charges and executed simply because the daimyo considered them undesirables. Real enough that the practice was apparently outlawed. Plenty of shit that isn't actually happening has been banned because of moral panics. Just because a law was made doesn't mean it was commonplace. The whole testing a new weapon seems like a shitty defense for chimped out at a random person over road rage or some shit. But because the passerby was an actual nobody with no recourse, they made a law specifically forbidding using this retarded defense in the future. I haven't been able to find out if it was really commonplace. Statistics weren't really kept at the time. But I think it wasn't really that common. Executioners were sometimes paid to test new swords on criminals sentenced to death or on corpses. It doesn't seem likely for a daimyo getting a new sword, mounting on his favorite horse and beheading a random peasant. Most cases of sujigiri were probably something like 9-6 is describing. More of an excuse than reason to kill something for some perceived disrespect. Furthermore, most samurai were, nominally at least, Buddhist, and taking lives was frowned upon. It was apparently common enough that there was not only a name for it, but that it was banned. That there was one high-profile lord executed for it, and there was another guy who intentionally went out to where it was going on and slaughtered a gang of bandits who were doing it. The various accounts suggest that while samurai were legally allowed to kill those of lesser castes, it really only happened when the victim was actively trying to make it happen. I don't feel like they'd do it to their own peasants, but attacking someone else's is fair game. It was legal for the noble class to kill their subjects whenever they wanted. Obviously, it wasn't normal for them to just kill a passerby even if they were allowed to. There were a few recorded cases of them testing out new weapons on prisoners. It was real, but not at all common. It was just a specific manner of murder, but it's presented with a neat foreign word and is brought up often because it sounds outrageous. Whether or not it was a regular occurrence, you should be able to tell right away how embellished it is, Desu. A samurai had all sorts of options to test a new weapon or technique. It'd be stupid to risk money, reputation, and life on murking a random peasant. What would you get out of that you wouldn't get out of sparring or test cutting with bamboo or tatami? It's like droit du seigneur. Peasants memeing on the petty nobles for talking about their rights as if they could do whatever they wanted, while in reality they were fags who couldn't do shit without getting arrested by the higher nobles. These defenseless passerby were never truly defenseless. The shogunate forbade non-samurai to carry katana, but they could carry shorter sword, either wakizachi or kodachi, and for self-defense against robbery or banditry. They cannot provoke samurai into a duel, but they can, in theory, defend themselves against rogue samurai/ronin. Magistrate would sometimes side with the peasant in case said peasant were harassed by ill-reputed samurai and had to take a stand. Annoying faggot in town constantly pissing everyone off. Many complaints to the local samurai. Who is responsible for keeping order? Whacks the guy at night. Everyone acts like it was some random act of cruelty with no motive and goes on happily with their lives. The modern equivalent would be zeroing your rifle at the homeless encampment. And it would be based. Almost never. A samurai could strike down a peasant, but would have to justify his actions. If found unjust, his lands and wealth could be stripped and be disgraced. It happened in the Sengoku Jidai because no one was really policing it during a massive war. But in the Edo period, it was illegal and you would be executed for doing it. If you wanted to test a new sword on a person in the Edo period, you would just go execute criminals like everybody else did. Yamamoto Tsunetomo talks about doing this in the Hagakure. There were 3 different things people may confuse. 1. Samurai killing Japan peasants for insulting them. This was true and absolutely legal in Edo, Japan. If a peasant insulted a samurai, the samurai could kill him. The samurai could also have sex with a Japanese peasant's wife without punishment. And if the peasants tried to take revenge, he would be executed. Crossroads killing. A samurai killing a random innocent passing by a peasant to test his weapon. This is what the OP is referring to. 3. Testing weapons on convicted criminals. Keltec PR-57. The Keltec PR-57 is a compact concealed carry pistol chambered in 5.7 by 28mm. Featuring a rotary barrel and top-loading design, it's ultra lightweight and maintains an impressive 20-round capacity. The PR-57 comes with 2 10-round stripper clips and optics plate. Prayers answered once again. Thanks, George. I love you. I like gimmicks. I like trash. I like stupid shit. Already putting my pennies in the Keltec jar for when this thing drops. Cheap too. $400 retail. Stripper clips. Fucking why? How do you unload it? Makes grip smaller, which is important for such a long cartridge. See the bottom of the grip? I'll bet it unloads like many older guns with stripper clips. Right out the bottom. That's what I'm hoping for. If it's under $500, I'll buy 3. Retail is only $400, which means it'll be $360 online. They haven't specified if it's single action or double action. It's hammer fired. We can see the hammer moving in the videos, and it looks like it's double action like their older chassis guns. It's like a rotary barrel PF9 with an internal mag. I'm excited for it. Make a new sub 2K in 5.7. One of the appeals of the 5.7 is compatibility with multiple kinds of magazines. Release a stripper clip fed 5.7 pistol to go with it. Why is Keltec like this? Am left-handed. Chargers only seem to be useful for right-handers. Leftoids can't use the gun. Sold. Brain-dead, evolutionary dead-end left-hander can't comprehend flipping the device upside down to use it the other way. You people and your perceived victimhood are a blight. 14 ounces unloaded, 18 ounces loaded with 20 rounds. It's only 0.93 inches wide when most compacts right now are 1 inch. It's not a mag, it's a clip. Thanks, Florida. I love memes. My wife just threatened to divorce me because I inherited my great-grandfather's shotgun. It's been in my family for 4 generations. She hates guns that much that she's willing to destroy our family of 6 because my great-granddad's shotgun is coming my way. She gave me the ultimatum, and I told her I'd be looking for a rental in the near future. She hasn't spoken to me in 4 days and won't sleep in our bed now. What the actual fuck is wrong with women? Her farmer dad used to walk around shirtless with a shotgun when I first met her, but now she's having a woman moment that I might get one. Tell the bird it's your house and she can feck off. It's our house. Also, you're pretty much fucked either way. She has revealed her crazy. If you choose to keep it, she will hate you and maybe leave. If you cuck out, she will never respect you and will still probably leave or walk over you like a rug for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's what I figured. There's literally only one way to fix this. Stop talking to her entirely. Treat her like garbage anytime you see her. Get a girlfriend. Anything less will not work. I hate living in a hostile atmosphere, but this might be my future for the foreseeable future. I hate having to do this nonsense. Fuck your wife. Fuck your mother. If she's willing to divorce over a family heirloom, imagine what else she'll divorce for. Annan, don't you dare leave that fucking house, cause the moment you step foot out of it, you won't get it back in the divorce, and she'll get to keep it. I won't bend the knee to any woman. Trouble is, she won't bend the knee to me either, and I can't make her. But it isn't his house, Anon. According to the family court, it's now their house. We are both on the mortgage. It's our house. Seriously, just tell her to fuck off and then get it anyways. I mean it. Just a casual fuck off and then go on about your day like nothing has happened. I've never seen her act like this. I don't think she'll just accept it. Could it be that there's something else wrong and it's just revealing itself in this issue? No meds except Ozempic in a chronic case of self-destructive woman moments. Hate to tell you this, OP, but I think we've cracked the case. Any medication that makes you drop weight like you got super AIDS tends to make me think that maybe that might cause something else to change in your brain. ITT, we post guns we're interested in getting, and Anons who actually own them give us their opinions on them. I'll start. I own one. I thought it would be a good semi-auto 308 rifle. I was wrong. The more I've shot it, the less I like it, to the point I'm looking to get rid of the damn thing. I don't like the ergonomics. I don't like the safety. The process of proper care/maintenance is a pain in the ass. You have to own special/specific tools to do the cleaning. If you have an issue that involves tearing down the bolt, you better have that tool too. Magazines are stupid expensive for what they are. I don't know if they all are, but mine is very ammo picky. All in all, I ammo a garbage rod. M1A is a pay-to-play platform. Unless you want to buy the bone stock rifle with a 10-round mag and call it a day, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars beyond your initial purchase to equip it with the basic necessities. $150 for a scope mount, $35 for each magazine, $60 for an extra attachment point, sling bipod, etc., $150+ for an optic, more if you want an actual scope. But damn if it doesn't look nice. I honestly love mine, but it's my only semi-auto 308, so I don't have much else to compare it to. I have a few judges, and even with that said, I can't imagine why anyone would want the public defender. The judge is already a meme gun with very limited application. The public defender version is objectively worse. I am made show the only reason to get it is if you're building a collection around the cheap throwaway plastic aesthetic. C96 Mauser. The good. It's very fun to shoot. The smile I get every time I take it out just to plink or do serious range shooting is a feeling I never get with most handguns. Some examples can be found for less than $1,500 now. As of 2022, I got mine for like $1,400 max. Good quality, not beat up and used hardly at all, and shoots extremely well. Now obviously most milsurp guns from the time are overpriced now, but 9mm World War I examples are like 3 times the cost, so this is more on the cheaper end of the spectrum. Really accurate for what it is, and how old it is. Trigger pull is not bad for such an old gun, and feels better than some modern guns somehow. Looks sexier than most guns, period. Fight me. Get a stock. It's literally an exception to the SBR ATF ruling, and you can have a free SBR with this thing. That said, stock doubles as a holster, and it's so fucking neat. The bad. Loading is hard to get used to, and sometimes stripper clips are hard to use compared to rifle rounds due to how small and skinny the round is. Cost per round isn't horrible, but you will never be found getting rounds in any store on Earth. Gotta order them online. If you are Chad enough to carry this thing, it's not terrible, but why? You literally have anything smaller, and less awkward to sit in your pants. The sights are almost pointless to adjust unless you get the stock/holster. Then it's a very fun carbine. Again, highly recommend getting one if you buy this gun. Chinese-made C96s are extreme varied quality, but don't be afraid of them. Some are very well made. Many are not and should not be shot and used for display only. heavy. Like, unironically, you can call me a bitch or whatever, but it's overly heavy. However, for such an old gun, it's an upgrade to its competition, which is bulkier than it, so give it a pass. TLDR, this outdated POS is the most fun gun in my entire collection, and I wouldn't sell it for anything. LCR in 9mm? Blah. Every LCR model not in 38 Special is retarded. In particular, the 9mm sucks for 4 reasons. First, because it's just as heavy as the 357, which completely negates the main benefit of the LCR as a so light you forget about it pocket carry gun. Second, the moon clips you have to use because the cartridge isn't rimmed are fundamentally awful because of how hit large the extractor notch in the case is means that any moon clip that is the typical size, and the only size in mass production mind you, has a really sloppy retention of the rounds. So they are not all held parallel to each other. So ironically, it's even slower to reload than a regular revolver with a speed loader. Third, the combination of relatively rough finish machining inside the chambers and the higher chamber pressure of 9mm means you will regularly have stuck cases, and finding out you can't reload your gun anymore until you mash the ejector rod on something seems like a pretty dumb thing to sign up for in a gun you might use for self-defense. Fourth, because the bullets aren't retained in the case under recoil by bumping against the front of a magazine, cheap ammo that's not crimped quite firmly will have bullet jump, where the bullet is pulled out of the case by inertia under recoil and can cause a jam in the middle of a magazine that's not fixable by just pull the trigger again, which negates a major point in favor of the revolver compared against a semi-auto. If you absolutely must, buy gold dots for self-defense and don't count on getting a reload because that ammunition is manufactured in such a way that all the reliability problems are mitigated significantly. But in general, it's a shit gun that exists only because some manager thought it sounded neat on paper but wasn't willing to devote the engineering hours required to iron out the flaws in the design before it went to market. Mini 30. Fun aesthetic, cool if you ever have to go to a band state, but significantly less accurate and reliable than an AR in a ballistically equivalent caliber like 300 Blackout or even 7.62x39. Expect about twice as many jams and twice the group diameter versus an AR that costs the same. I have a P238 as one of my carry pieces. I don't know if the magazine safety is standard on all models or just the Californian compliant version. Either way, if, like me, you hate magazine safeties, it is very easy to delete. You remove a pin and the lever that is held in place by it. That's it. Field stripping for cleaning can be a little fiddly, but it's not difficult. Trigger is okay. SAO. Manual safety is easy to operate while still being tight. I carry mine cocked and loaded in a holster and appendix. But that might not be the smartest thing given it has only the one manual safety, no grip or trigger safety. I won't say it's pleasant to shoot, but it isn't unpleasant either. In short, I don't see any reason not to own one. I can see reasons why folks wouldn't want it as a carry, but all of those reasons are self-evident in the spec sheet. Easy to clean / maintain. Mine has been reliable, even with screwdriver rounds. SCR. Chin weld everything. Get a good cheek riser unless you can mount it insanely low without it getting in the way of the charging handle. Manipulating the charging handle one-handed is very difficult with no pistol grip. Get ready to skin your knuckles. You'll hold it for 5 minutes and realize there's absolutely no way you'll be able to comfortably reach the magazine release and have to get a kit to make it ambi. Aligning the bolt's tail into hole for the buffer tube in the stock is difficult to align sometimes. But it's still pretty fun. Even regular AR owners are attracted to it for some reason. USP-45 Tactical and Smith & Wesson 632 Ultimate Carry. I have a USP-45 Tactical. It's easily one of my favorite pistols of all time. It's been to the woods, the desert, the ocean, inside caves, and concrete jungles with me. It can run literally any ammo I throw at it, and I have about 3,000 rounds through it. I have made hits out to 100 yards with it, and it recoils very pleasantly. I have Mexican carried it around, and despite its size, it didn't print very much. It does everything you want it to do, and then some. Again and again and again. The big gripes I have are that 45 ACP is expensive as fuck. The gun itself is huge, almost no holster support, and no pick rail. Minor gripes are that the mags are expensive. The match sights don't inspire much confidence as they are all black and retarded to use in non-perfect lighting conditions. And finding someone to mill a red dot locally is a nightmare. I've been wanting one for years. I'll get the A3 one day. Horribly overpriced with a terrible trigger that makes shooting it well a challenge. The trigger can be improved, but that means throwing even more money at it. If you are buying it for the aesthetics alone, and the money is no object, sure. If you want a bullpup, there are better options, but the AUG does at least have a solid reputation. Anyone recommend the Scorpion under or around 1K? Only if it already includes some kind of brace. No more than 1100 though. How could humanity win a war against aliens? By listening to what they have to say. Rape. Anon, rape cannot solve every single problem. You have to stop this. Depends on technology, but if they have the resources and ability to come to Earth from their home planet, then it would be best to spread your ass open and hope that having sex is their weakness. We need to use the manhole again. Using the Trudeauan theory of warfare, we'll win if they kill us and wipe us out. If an alien civilization is advanced enough to feasibly make such a long journey, then there isn't really anything we could do to stop them, and we'd all be dead without them even needing to personally visit our galaxy. On the bright side, any civilization that advanced has no real reason to attack us in the first place. Resources? Whatever they're after, they're passing billions of times more of it in asteroids during the journey here. The living space? Way less time/effort to just build orbital habitats where they already live. Slave labor? Would be less effort and more effective to just automate whatever work they had in mind. Livestock? Would be less effort to covertly retrieve DNA samples with a drone and cultivate meat from them instead, which would also be easier and cheaper than conceiving/raising live humans, requiring less energy and space. Just for shits and giggles? Such an advanced civilization could make the Death Star look like a child's toy. So if they're that bad at containing any grug smash instincts, then they'll destroy themselves through internal conflict long before they ever discover other intelligent life. Elimination of a future threat doesn't even need to be a big decision. You could just have a small number of dickheads who easily have enough power to overwhelm us. Imagine some gang using us as hostages. Aliens have alien motives. Simple as. Hope that they're completely retarded. No species without extreme ideological potency and spiritual intensity would survive to colonize the rest of their system, let alone another star system. Without an overriding philosophical and spiritual desire to compel them, they'd be too busy on their world with alien redditors and alien sci-fi enthusiasts smugly voting to import more sub-aliens into whatever the most productive and long-term planning-oriented alien society was at the behest of alien parasites who easily exploit alien midwittery. In short, you don't conquer space by suppressing grug smash. You reach space by suppressing actually nerds and shoving them back into lockers where they fucking belong. Nuke-shaped charge. Bill Clinton loved the part when the First Lady dies. Said it was his favorite movie. It'd probably take a second or more offensive depending on how advanced the aliens are. If they render our weapons useless, then we have no choice but to use their own weapons against them or try to mimic theirs. Basically anything new they pull out is going to be analyzed as best as we can while also trying to snag parts. That's a big if they don't kill all the smart people and the rest of the Earth in one go. They wouldn't. We'd be liquidated. Any civilization that advanced has no real reason to attack us in the first place. That's a very bold conclusion considering we have exactly 0 data points to work off of, and that includes ourselves. Something sci-fi writers often overlook is how unusual Earth is. Basically a binary planet system with a much higher density and gravity than is expected from its orbital position. Obviously, both of those are due to the same Proterozoic impact. It has a ton of interesting geological and biological implications. One that is never talked about is if sentient aliens are all from Goldilocks-type planets. It is currently thought a human soldier would be to an Lamau grunt as either a human is to a gorilla on the low side or a human to like a space marine or something on the high side. Humans are likely to be radically physically stronger than aliens, like to a scary for them degree. Would be nice if we saw this reflected in film, with a movie that showed the more likely scenario is totally inverted from aliens etc. The humans may be fewer in number and with inferior technology, but they will absolutely wreck your gray-skinned shitbox if they can get close to you, which considering walking on Earth would be the equivalent of a sprint workout on Mars, they probably can. Quickly. The John Carter stories did that over 100 years ago. How could humanity win a war against aliens? Depends on the scale of the conflict. The entire star-faring alien race decides it wants to utilize all of its worlds to launch an attack on Earth? Humans can't win. They can just launch some RKVs for pennies in terms of their budget and kill everyone on Earth. But how about extremely small faction from said aliens decides to attack Earth? Maybe it's just some civilian mining corporation and due to an emergency they couldn't make it to their destination. Maybe they need to stop by the solar system for some reason. They don't even have anything beyond basic security team used to police members of their own ship and not for doing invasions of other worlds. For some reason, Earth has what they need to make their repairs, so they stop here and it ends up resulting in some battle between Earth militaries and the alien security team while their engineers repair the ship. You just need a contrived reason for the aliens to have only a small group and not be at anything near their full power. District 9 did that. How could humanity win a war against aliens? Transmit an archive of all K-posts. Aliens would decipher it and get an aneurysm from the concentrated retardation at display. Absolutely 0 fucking chance against a dedicated invasion. No way. The only way to contrive a victory scenario goes like this. Give us at least an extra 2 centuries. This is so we can have some space infrastructure already and aren't bootstrapping an interplanetary war economy from nothing. The aliens are a broke down rogue fleet running on fumes and chased by another alien faction. The aliens need to be as weak as possible and need to be on the run so they can't just stop at another solar system to rebuild. The runaway aliens want to use us for an expedited refit. The chasers ask us to hold them down for them to catch up. In this scenario, we might be able to defeat the aliens on our own, but realistically, we would still be at such a disadvantage that our best bet would be stalling and waiting for the other aliens to help out. Nuke. Philosophy in gear setup. US cops LARP as SOF, even spending hundreds on a pair of pants or shoes. European cops just wear jeans and sneakers. You don't need high-speed pants/shoes to operate and on. $30 jeans and $90 sneakers are enough. Imagine not knowing shoes. You're fucking swine-skinned, Keck. Those are $300 kicks. What people neglect about US police and all their Gucci shit is a vast quantity is modern milsurp and bought in bulk. That stuff is lighter on the budget than you'd think. It's why they have all these toys but no training. Can't get that for cheap. Vans. I like how they look, but they're shit for anything you have to walk, run, or just stand for a prolonged time in. The Nikes I can get. Those have plenty of support and comfy soles. If you're not skating, I wouldn't want them. Leopard print is also extra zesty. Blue mags, blue guns, that's a training exercise. Those are probably simunition guns. Dude on the left looks to have a blue mag sticking out of his back. That's probably a sim mag. But dude in the center looks to have a regular mag in his rifle. Nah mate, blue mags are ice rounds. Freeze effect can help in restraining suspects. For some reason, Euro police love air forces. Those are quick reaction Euro SRT teams. They're trained to throw gear on in a minute, hence all of them wearing jeans. Sister fucking retard doesn't understand that Eurofag designer jeans and shoes are not the same price as the shoes and jeans he buys at Walmart. Shoes, Vans and Air Forces are not that expensive and on. Same Dutch police unit on a different day. Dutch is such a silly language. Hitler, dude. What now? You take that back. Quads aren't LARPing. I hate they're all wearing skinny jeans. Why isn't there a single good straight pair of 501s? This is coming from a fellow Europor, by the way. Herder LAPD SWAT just shows up in shorts and white sneakers. Skinny jeans are for fags. Tight pants, tight groupings. It's a tactical fashion choice. I can't argue with that logic, bro. The best shoes for urban special operations fighting is the shoes you're used to wearing. It otherwise doesn't matter. Plus, those style of shoes can fold up really easy for fitting into a backpack. That's it, that's all it is. In urban areas, footwear is not really a big difference maker. Neither is your vest/loadout. They look like fags and skinny jeans. Sassy operators. Lol, Lamaus even. Act-fly blue mags and guns cause jeans also blue. It's our city camo. They look like faggots. They probably are. Men should only wear/buy shoes that serve a purpose, and thus should only own maybe 5 pairs of shoes at the very most. Nice, $300 minimum leather boots that go above your ankles. If a safety toe is a must, go for composite. Dress shoes for formal events. House slippers. I wear Birkenstocks now, but going to switch to a pair of Russell's Adidas. 2 pairs of sneakers. 1 pair for everyday running about. These can be your faggy fashion shoes if you like. I just wear high-top Chucks. And the other pair should be for working out and should have good support for running. Nikes, Adidas, etc. I just lift and don't do cardio, so I just wear Chucks for this too. I have probably about 20 pairs of shoes, and they've all been gifted and I don't wear any of them. I resole my boots about every 2 years and keep good care of them. Not a big fan of Converse or Vans, or just about any of those popular sneakers. Let's say you come into a building where the floors are these Welsh tiles. You're just not going to have a good grip. And let's say it was a rainy day and you walk in with wet shoes. You won't be able to quickly change direction or run on this surface with sneakers. Also, they are garbage if you're on an escalator. They offer very little grip. Not posting the hardest DSI image on the planet? Maker goes alles good? Enough silly talk of man's footwear. What type of tactical hair gel is this manlet using? Also, wouldn't supporting your rifle by the scope throw off at 0? In Europe, scopes are just for the aesthetic. It's all hipfire. The Rustler jeans and Brahma boots crowd commentary. If someone has low-cut shoes, that makes them more prone to rolling their ankle. That's not good when in the middle of an operation. Those look extremely gay. The fuck is wrong with men today? Why do they want to look feminine with these colorful gay shoes and slim-fit girl pants? I've always wondered why the US never went for gendarmerie police force. Too much like the military? Why do you all like looking at men in jeans? Would you rather look at girls? Only if they have tight groups. Are Marines really retarded? Anyone have stories of interacting with them? Onesies and twosies are, but it would be hard to find any military without some retards in it. Onesies and twosies? The who? Onesies and twosies. Maybe some threesies if the unit is really retarded. Be Eurofag from formerly neutral country. Live in major port city with strong naval presence. Country joins NATO. Uncle Sam's Marine Corps show up shortly afterwards to do a joint exercise thing with local Navy. Marines get leave to see the city afterwards. Single squad of retard jarheads proceed to find the nearest bar. Get absolutely shit-hammered drunk. Grope woman at bar. Kicked out of bar. Pick fights with security. Get their asses beat. Run away to find whores instead. Fail to locate prostitutes. Threaten locals and demand that random people on the street inform them where all the whores are hidden. Get intercepted by the cops. Be belligerent towards the cops. Get their asses beat again, and pepper sprayed. Resist arrest. Get their asses beat a third time to the point where they're unable to resist arrest. Hauled off to jail. Videos of retards being retards posted everywhere online. Locals are pissed. Diplomatic incident ensues. All other Marines confined to quarters. Marine General and local Navy Admiral called directly to central government for meeting with the Prime Minister himself. Both men held at gunpoint by local equivalent of Secret Service. Told to get on the floor. Forced to walk the dinosaur. Okay, so this hasn't happened yet, but it's only a question of when, not if. You bitch. How dare you expose my Saturday night plans before I'm drunk enough to come up with them? I remember reading a Greentext on here a long time ago about a jarhead slashing his finger off. Went to Chair Force, Dr. Anon. Dr. Anon had to go get something. And upon returning, finds the Marine drawing on a piece of paper with his decapitated finger. Retarded? Badass? I don't know. Take your pick. Oh, and my dad's cousin volunteered for the Marines in the middle of the Vietnam War. But instead of being sent to Vietnam, he was posted as security at a base or something in the Philippines. While it wasn't a combat post, the locals would do drive-bys on the guard hut at the front gate often. Sometime before his discharge, some jarhead was playing with an M14 and blew his own brains out in front of my dad's cousin. I remember reading a Greentext on here a long time ago about a jarhead slicing his finger off. I don't know if it was ever widely reported on, but there was also an incident where 2 Marines were ordered to trim some hedges, which they tried to do by holding a running walk-behind lawnmower over the top of the hedge. This resulted in one of the Marines getting both his hands amputated. I've freelanced articles for military defense tech magazines and hustled my way into covering exercises and things like that. And the Marines were funny in a kind of stupid angry way, yeah? Nothing exciting. I once covered an amphibious landing exercise and showed up at a checkpoint in the middle of a rainforest at 7 a.m. because that's where the PIO said to be. No PIO, but there were 2 Marines in some shitty guardhouse. I asked, is this where? And immediately heard back, we don't fucking know, sir. Also standing around watching the AAVs come to shore later near a group of Marine officers, and occasionally seeing some of them glance at me like they wanted to kill me. The Marines I've interacted with were more crazy than stupid. Lots of poor life choices and poor impulse control. They also had a stick up their ass about being a Marine. Yes, they are. We got a safety brief when arriving to Kandahar Air Force Base to stay away from the sewage pond. This was because 2 Marines bet each other which one could swim across it first. I watched Marines try to lift an M1000 trailer that had an Abrams tank on it with just a single HEMMT. They broke the chains immediately, and when one of them snapped, it whipped the Marine in the head and cracked his Kevlar in 2. My first day at Camp Leatherneck, I saw 2 Marines in full kit riding a 2-seater bicycle on the shittiest gravel road. I had a couple Marine passengers. While stopped at a convoy halt, some Afghan kid stole a loose spare tire. One of the Marines chased down this kid, drugged the kid and rolled the tire back to the truck, then screamed at him to apologize to my sergeant multiple times. And he obviously didn't know English. I love those crazy bastards. TLDR, Marines are the retarded bastard children we all fucking love. I watched a Marine almost hang himself at the JBSA Lackland bus stop by getting his lanyard stuck on a beam he was hanging from to do pull-ups. The Marines are good, the most solid guys you'll ever work with. The Marine Corps is deeply retarded. I have one from when I was in AIT and we shared a DFAC with Ordnance Marines. Be me, eat at only DFAC I've ever seen that was so bad it actually made people sick. Sit down at table next to Marines. Hear a Marine say to his buddy unironically, "This is the best food I've ever had while I've been in the military." At that moment I understood why Marines ate crayons. Most crayons are non-toxic and at least won't get you physically sick. I wanted to cry and tell him, "It'll be okay. It's only at most 7-ish more years. It does get better." Do not mock Marines. Pity them. The Army treats its soldiers like shit at times, but it's still better than the Marine Corps/Navy treats their Marines. Do not I've been to that exact DFAC at Fort Lee, and the chow was fine. Loved the salad bar. Also, they had those little boxes of cereal. Chow at 29 Palms was genuinely great. I can see why they might say that after eating boot camp packed ham sandwiches. Yeah, we were rotating out of our deployment back in 2010. We just spent a long year in Kandahar and were sitting at KAF waiting for our ride to one of the other stands. Or maybe Kuwait. This was 15 years ago. As we were waiting, there was a platoon of Marines also waiting to rotate out. A couple buddies and I spent an hour or two bullshitting with them, swapping war stories and lies. It was super comfy. Marines are cool. Euro. I actually found them very honorable and good to deal with. The finest Americans I have known, and I don't rate the rest highly either. Did 6 years in the Corps, hated every minute of it, but had some fun with the boys. Got in trouble for doing combatives on the drill floor unattended. Camped on a hill doing retrans over a week. It got real dumb up there. Hid my buddy's rifle right before the NCOs arrived. He got smoked. It was funny. He got the rifle back. Platoon sergeant woke the whole fucking pit up at 2 a.m. in February in the field because Private Fuckhead couldn't be found. We sat in the cold and mud for 2 hours while the NCOs were looking for that retard. It fucking sucked. Loaded and unloaded a quad-con 7 times back-to-back because our staff sergeant was a fucking retard and couldn't read his own fucking packing list. Had the usual weekend safety brief of no guys in girls' rooms, no booze in the barracks, and don't rape anyone. Following Monday, everyone gets in trouble because some of the wooks had a party in their room, and one of the dudes got shit-faced and raped one of them. Whole company get yelled at by a female mahor for shitting in the same broken toilet for a month. The shit pile was so high it peaked over the edge. Whole company had to clean one fucking bathroom inside a single wide trailer out in the desert mid-December. There's more I can't remember. That's just the highlight reel. Was Private Fuckhead ever found? Well, he was here to post about it, so I guess so. You could argue everyone who joins the Marines is dumb, because of all of the ideas the Marines win battles. And their training is a continuous process that ensures it. But the idea Marines are dumb, it's more an inside motivational retard kind of joke. You have to be smart to be a Marine. Even the infantry guys have to score high in the GT fields. I would think even if you got into the Marines with lower scores, you'd still be expected to step up. Because a common practice in the Corps is making everyone a leader. And if you suck at something, then guess who gets put in charge of it? It's very common to see junior Marines in charge of big roles. Navy, E4, visiting joint base for medical. Approach Jarhead outside. Gives me a sharp salute. Good morning, sir. Return salute. Good morning, Marine. I love 'em. Still remember getting saluted by Marines at Leonard Wood during AIT. What a lovely bunch of oorahs. Look, petty officer has the word officer in it. Can you really expect a Marine to understand that doesn't mean they need to salute? Well, speaking as a corpsman, one came in with a broken foot because he thought his rain poncho would act like Batman's cloak and break his fall with wind resistance. So he jumped off a 3-story building with the highest confidence on a windy day. That should tell you all you need to know. That sounds like a deficiency of the poncho that should be rectified and given to the Army. I was a Marine and then worked with the military as a contractor, so I may be a bit biased, but after working with different branches in a civilian capacity, I learnt some things. Army. Absolute mixed bag depending on the unit. God forbid you have to work with pogs because it'll be a bunch of Shaniquas that don't want to do a single fucking thing besides scroll on their phones and do stupid little dances while their friends scream, "Ay, ay, ay!" Navy. Weird guys with Asperger's. Girls will immediately try to suck you off, and that isn't a good thing. My coworker caught herpes. Marines. Good to work with. Will go out of their way to help with shit, even if it's not really their job. Units are also consistent. You get the same thing every time. I did feel bad for them as they were treated poorly by their own commands compared to other services. I think the whole thing about them being dumb is partly because they aren't allowed to do anything unless they have specific permission from at least one level above the individual. Air Force. Literally just normal people for the most part. Some dumbasses, but overall they were cool to work with. The security forces guys thought they were the same thing as infantry, which was kind of amusing as a lot of them couldn't even molly their mag pouches to their vests correctly. Very easy to get things done without them having to ask 500,000 officers or SNCOs for permission. If it made sense, just do it. Coast Guard. I saw a Coast Guard guy one time. Yes, I was one. Marines are retarded in a funny way. Unlike Army soldiers who are retarded in either a sad way or a South American hustling weapons from the armory for the cartels kind of way. I can still remember the MP shooting tear gas through the windows of a bar to break up the brawl when several of the Marines realized they'd all been fucking the same slag from Puerto Rico. 60 plus were arrested. Good times. Nearly spilled my beer. Circa 2008. Be me, be Navy. At a random base for a while because ship broke. Can't stay on ship because how it broke the rules say no go. They put us up in Marine barracks. Next door neighbor and friends playing darts on each other's center mass. Lol, nice. Be me, be Navy. At some other random base. Marine v Navy sports ball. We lose everything but soccer. Tell them we can drink better than them. We can 100%. Go to the NEX and get tons of Bud Light. I don't know why the fuck that's what we all drank. I don't know where it started. Marines start shotgunning and pounding beers left and right. Ooh-rah or whatever. Oh shit, we might actually have a competition. Me and the boys get after it. Marines all pass the fuck out at 9:30 p.m. after beer bonging Jägermeister and doing other shit like that. Realize Marines have one speed. IDK, I like the Marines. They were retarded, but in a fun way. If anyone is wondering, I joined at 18, so I didn't realize me and the boys were all severe alcoholics. Until I got out and found out it's not normal to drink like we did. Lel. Sit back and relax, boys, and allow me to share with you one of the most insane patients I had at sick call while a corpsman with a Marine division. This is a story with a story in it. Sitting at the front desk, waiting for guys from my company to come in for sick call. A few dudes, nothing serious, and see one guy complaining of a stomach ache. Oh yeah, I'll take this. Easy to deal with. Takes plenty of time. Have an easy morning. Take him back to a room. Doc, I don't have a stomach ache. My actual problem is it burns when I piss. Of course, .jpg. I ask him the standard questions, i.e. when did this start? When was the last time you had sex? Did you use a condom? When I ask, did you use a condom? He replies with, sort of. Let me stop you right there, killer. How do you sort of use a condom? He regaled me with this story. Him and his buddy were out on the town a few nights ago at a bar off base. They are talking to a lady of one of the many fine establishments that are outside of military installations. She decides that on a Tuesday night, she is down to go back to the barracks with these two fine upstanding Marines. She's a real classy broad. They get back to the barracks, and things progress. Our hero realizes she's probably not the most purest of women, and he doesn't have a condom. He lets his buddy know the situation, and his buddy tells him, tough shit, I only have one. To which he replies, no, it's cool. When you're done, I'll just flip your condom inside out and use it. My face win. GIF related. I go get other corpsmen and have him tell the same story. Other corpsmen are laughing as hard as I did and grabbing other corpsmen. Finally, the battalion surgeon wonders what the commotion is in the patient room. Side note, at this point, our battalion surgeon has been practicing medicine with Marine units for almost 20 years. 8 of it as a corpsman and the remainder as a doctor. This level of retardation shocks even him. His face went GIF related. Whatever HM3N on here says to do as treatment, I am signing off on. I am not touching you. He walks out in shock, awe, disgust, and is chuckling to himself. Obviously, I punch the boar and send it out to the lab and start him on antibiotics. And as these things happen, word gets out there's a nasty in my company. First Sergeant has me, the senior line corpsman, give a sex ed class at formation that afternoon because everyone has heard the rumors. No one knows who it was, but they all have an idea because there's always one in every company. Company commander, who was a frat bro, is standing beside me trying not to laugh with everyone else. Company XO, who is a Mustang, accepts that this is just something Marines do. What's the big deal? First Sergeant is disgusted. I give the talk, and at the end of it I explain the use of condoms and ask, should you ever flip a condom inside out and use it? The company burst out into laughter. The CEO had to turn away and compose himself. First Sergeant is even more disgusted. Shut the fuck up, you nasty motherfuckers. This shit is fucking serious. Walks away in disgust and is just trying to ride out his 2 more years left and 1 deployment we gotta knock out. My face win this entire situation. It takes a special breed of fighter pilot to voluntarily seek battle and die as a rifleman. Marine aviators have managed it at least twice. Wake Island, Camp Bastion, probably Quezon too. You could say Marines exist at all times in a based twilight zone between valor and stupidity.
Heaven, I'm in heaven. The cares that hung around me through the week